Good morning, Millennial Morticians. Happy Wednesday morning. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys are ready to tune in to today's episode. It's kind of inclined with the weather that we're facing around the country. The title of today's episode is Plant a Seed. I got this week's title from something that's been going on across the country. I've been finding that these extreme heat waves, these droughts in certain areas, has really made me think about our industry in a different kind of light, in a different kind of manner. I've thought about how many people I know in our industry that have so much to share, have so many great intels and insights, so much knowledge, and they haven't planted a seed. If you're a funeral home director, funeral home owner, mortician, whoever you are in this industry, it's your job, it's your obligation, it is your moral duty to plant a seed for somebody else, for the next generation, for the next person interested in being a part of what you're doing at your own funeral home. And I find that we get so busy in our day-to-day lives as morticians and as funeral directors that when it's time for us to harvest in the fall, we really don't have much left in the tank to keep us going. And so I want to encourage you today to plant a seed in your funeral home. It doesn't have to necessarily be a person or a physical seed. It could be you giving back to your funeral home, giving back to your community. It could be you hiring a new employee. It could be having an office meeting or office party of people bouncing off ideas on how to grow and scale your business and make something that you have 10 times better. And I find that we get so comfortable and stagnant in this industry, and it's easy to get comfortable. You say, hey, Jaden, I have a funeral home. I get enough bodies. I'm getting ready to retire. I'm doing just fine. I'm comfortable. But the real challenge and the real question I want to ask you is, well, what legacy have you left behind? What is something that's going to make people say, wow, I remember you. I remember what that person did for me. I remember the impact they had on my family and on my friendships. So you being that seed, planting that seed in the ground is so important. And for my guys in the funeral industry who are third, fourth generation, and you maybe are still at the same original location that your funeral home was started at, nothing wrong with that because you have community ties there. The question is, are you going to plant more seeds? Are you going to take that generational funeral home and map out and grow and expand? I want you guys to have something to harvest this year. I want your funeral home to say, wow, this year we've done so much. And look at the seeds. Look how many lives we've changed. Look how many people we've touched. Because this is a touch business. It's very physical. It's very, handshake, like we talked about last week. But it's also mental. There's a lot of mental to this. There's a lot of heart in this. There's a lot of service in this. And you guys hear me use that word so much, but I just want to, exercise the importance of planting your seeds and the value in what you have. You never know what your seed could do for somebody. I had a funeral home when I first got into this industry, planted seed in me to, learn about the business, learn about the industry, to grow, to discover, to find out more about different topics. And that seed has changed my life. If it wasn't for them watering the seed that was in me, the gift that was in me, I might not be here today. This podcast might not be going strong today. And so I want you to take the time to see the assets, the values that you have at your funeral home, and take those amazing things and begin to plant them in the ground all over. Because what begins to happen is somebody sees what you're doing, they like what you're doing, they see the seed that you have in you, and they want to plant, they want to see what your recipe is for success. What is that person doing that's like, wow, I want to be a part of that. I want to help facilitate that seed and grow that seed. And what I've seen happen over the years is that we've been getting so comfortable with hoarding our own seeds for ourselves and not really distributing our knowledge and our gifts to the world. And it's causing us to have slowdowns and motivation in our industry for people to build and construct and do magnificent things in all aspects of this business. And we don't realize it, but we're hurting ourselves when we restrict seeds and growth like that. And I want us to be people who are open-minded to growth and development of an industry and of a business, because as you can see, the world is changing so rapidly, so quickly, and that you have to be able to adapt and manage and be able to hold down a position in your industry that people say, wow, that person has done so much. You don't want to be, what scares me the most, I'll be honest with you guys. I want to open my own funeral home one day. I want to be successful. I want to create an environment. I want to plant seeds and do some big things. But I don't want to pass away myself. And all they could remember was that I was the owner of a funeral home. That's not the legacy I want to leave behind. I want to leave behind change and efficiency, effectiveness. I want my clientele to feel like they've been heard. And a lot of clientels in different industries and different markets, if you haven't noticed, they've been feeling like they haven't been getting heard. Inflation, prices, grocery prices rising across the country, gas prices rising across the country, and you don't hear those companies saying, well, it's okay. They're sticking with their guts, they're sticking with their plans, and they're just letting this kind of stuff just roll out onto the consumers. But I don't want the funeral industry to be that kind of business. I want us to be a business that listens, that understands, that receives, that's implementing things in the world, change in the world, that's making a difference beyond the grave, some might argue. And so this being a podcast that engraves your seeds that you leave behind for people, for the next generation, for the next educators, the next learners, the people who are coming up behind me, even in this industry, is that I engrave them with something. Did that seed leave something? Did it grow? Did it sprout? There's nothing worse than somebody who's done so much in their community, a strong funeral director, a strong mortician that the community knows, loves, and trusts, planted a seed in the ground, it began to grow and sprout into a tree, and then somebody else that came behind them didn't know how to keep it alive. So not only putting the seed in the ground and planting it and watering it, you have to give it nutrients so it'll grow and do what you want it to do. But are you going to continue the growth? Is it going to continue to grow and sprout? It would suck. Some people, people put so much into this business, into this industry, and I'm grateful for that because that means they're really invested in it, that they really care about what we do and who we are as givers, because we give to people, we give them peace of mind. And so there's nothing worse than the person not having that 20-year legacy remembered, that seed not being able to sprout because the next person didn't know how to handle it and manage it correctly. And being excited about this, being motivated about this, being passionate about this is super important to how long you're able to sustain and stay in this. And not only that, but facilitate people coming in under you and teaching them what you know and what you've learned working with different families and being a part of different organizations such as NFDA and other great local associations in your area that help you develop and grow your knowledge and your intent to become the best of the best. And I find that a lot of the problem of it really is that there's been a drought. There's been a drought. And I know it's going on in real life around the world, across the US, I know for sure, with this extreme heat drought. But the problem I'm starting to realize, guys, is we have some amazing seeds still with us. And we're not watering them to the best of our abilities. We're not facilitating an environment for continued growth. I see a lot of little plants, but I want this audience, I want the people watching at home, I want the people listening and tuning in, I want you guys to have trees in this. I want you guys to have roots strong in the ground when you can say, hey, look, I'm solid in this foundation. I understand this. I know this. And I'm willing and ready to learn something new, a different part of the industry, a different part of the business. And that's what these conventions are for you to learn and for you to grow and develop yourself. You're never too good to learn anything new. I'm always learning. I'm always excited to learn. I'm always excited to listen about what's next in this industry, what's next in this business, who's coming up, what's going on in this part of the country. And every time I hear from different people and different industry leaders, I always find they all have their own recipe for what works for them in their area, in their industry. And they have watered that seed so well. They know their industry, they know their clientele, they know what to cater to and how to cater to them, and they're successful in it. And their trees are growing strong. So my challenge for you this week is to take the plant out of the plant box in the house and plant it in the ground. Put that tree, put that plant in the soil and let it grow into something strong and bold and excited about this industry and excited about this field. Well, that's all, Millennial Morticians. You guys know I don't keep you too long. Stay positive. Remember to plant a seed today. Grow something. Do something big. Leave a legacy behind that's strong and firm. And remember to water your seed. Hey, you guys, I look forward to seeing you guys next Wednesday. Remember to water that seed, let your tree grow, be invested in whatever you're doing. This is your Millennial Mortician, Jaden Folk, signing out.